work experience.
I used to do dancing when I was smaller, and it was dancing and drama, and I did it like every Sunday. The hip hop was the dancing, and I loved it, like. And the drama I wasn't too keen on because you'd have the drama first, and then you'd have to be reading out scripts and all, and I just wasn't into reading out loud because I wasn't like confident enough, and I thought I wasn't that good of a reader. You know that way. Hello, Backstreet Dance Academy. I had a look, right, because I was interested in doing the dancing, like having a look into doing something with dancing. Brilliant. So I was just flicking through the yellow pages, and I seen this dance studio, and just took the number out. Then they asked me to send me details and when I want to come on to do my work experience, and they said that they'd love to have me.
Anything from 6 o'clock in the evening is the adult classes, so we're open until 10. So
it's something that I think about doing as a job after school, like even like starting off at reception, then working my way up, like even owning my own dance studio, like, and running it.
Dancing classes finished yet?
Yeah, they're just on the way down. Want to have a seat?
That's great, thanks.
All the stuff that I'm at the learning now, like during the course and during the 8 weeks, it's all at coming in for me now, like me writing, me reading, the numbers and all, like that's where the maths comes into it, so everything is joined together, and like I'm using it by doing reception. No, I don't think I would have the confidence to ring up somewhere I don't even know, like, and just tell them like what I want to do, and like I don't think I would have been able to do that by me, like. But now, like, I'm at the building so much confidence, like I'm coming out now, and I'm starting to get out in the world, like. So yeah, it's good, like.
Friday night, and the 11 head out to Wicklow to begin the 7th weekend at Capure. This weekend centres around creativity and real-life issues such as relationships and dealing with the future.
Hello, how are you?
Nice.
Welcome back. Week 7.
The theme of this weekend is real life and creativity, and I suppose just to bear in mind there's just 2 weekends left, and it hasn't been easy. You know, some of the Saturdays have been long.
But guys, you have come a long way. You know you have, you've said it, and you can do a lot of this stuff yourself. You can do it yourself now. Do you know what I mean?
Because we're all more open now to the fact that we're not hiding anymore to the fact that we couldn't read or write.
Right. Isn't it amazing?
So we're open, you know, to get here. I think is even brilliant, isn't it?
Stephen O'Neill, the counselling psychologist, he's back with us again tonight. Okay?
Great to see you.
Okay, so
thanks, folks. I'll take a seat. So today, I suppose this evening, what we're going to try and do is we're going to have it's a discussion really about how people have experienced the course so far. And really, I suppose, around your experiences within the course, in your relationships perhaps in the course, but more particularly outside the course. How have you got on? How has this affected your relations outside? I suppose I'm curious, as in lots of times when you acquire new skills, it changes how you identify yourself. I mean, has people found that they don't necessarily, Carolyn?
It's actually changed me in an awful lot of ways, because I wasn't able to put a pen in my hand.
Right.
I wasn't able to put a book in my hand.
Right.
I'm after reading 2 or 3 stories since I started this course with my little one.
Right.
And I've also told an awful lot of people that have called me thick and stupid.
Right.
That I've not, and doing what I'm doing.
Right.
And not alone that my goal was to continue on with the course. And at the end of it, I wanted to do my junior.
Carolyn from Tala is married to Martin and has one daughter, Marie. She has always relied on them a great deal, but now is building more confidence in herself.
I'm going into town to do a bit of shopping for myself. First time going on my own. I have to do it on my own, instead of depending on everybody else. But just in case, I have my phone with me that's my emergency. Like, if I know a place, I'm grand. But when I don't know a place, I panic and I end up crying. I get very panicky. And And you hate asking people as well, because you probably think you're stupid or something like that. To me now, that's the way I'd be thinking. I've read a few pages of the book with my daughter. Some of the words on it were very hard. But there was 2 words on the book. I don't even know what they were, but I actually said the words. And I got a big kiss and a hug off her, off my daughter, like, oh, Mammy, Mammy. Like she was, the face on her said it all. And that meant an awful lot to me, just to see her face. It's grand, thanks very much, and thanks.
I think she's really learning a lot, because sometimes when we usually read a book, I have to help her doing that. I feel happy because she's really like reading to me, and that she knows big words, difficult ones.
You know, Carol's a sort of person, she's like a sponge. She'll learn everything within the space of minutes. You can see it in her that she's learning, because she's willing to try other things that she's never tried before. Yeah, her confidence seems to be hitting the roof, yeah. She's been going up every week, she's getting stronger and stronger. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it's something I've never had to deal with before.
Hey. Hiya.
How are you getting on there? You okay?
I'm just looking at the makeup, just want to see what skin tone, what type of makeup.
Some advice with your makeup, no problem.
Martin, like he would say, well done, he's proud of me and all the rest of it. But then he has a views about it, like different ideas.
So how confident with makeup are you?
I've never wear makeup before.
Okay, no worries.
Until I got the makeover there a couple of weeks ago.
I mean, I knew she had that person inside her. You know what I mean? She just needed a little bit of coaching and boosting in her confidence, and she was flying, and it proves in the pudding now. She's had to get a little push and she's flying. When she knows how to read and how to write, and when she has the confidence to move on and educate herself, there'll be a bit of our relationship gone because of that. But it won't make a big difference, but it'll still be gone, because she'll be moving on, and I just a little question mark there whether I'll be moving on with her, if you can make any sense out of that.
Okay, what we're going to do now is apply your base, which is your makeup, your foundation base.
He's afraid that I won't need him as much. But I did say to him, I said, I mightn't need you as much for me reading and writing, but I need you for other things like going to the bank with me, and like yesterday we done a bank statement. Bank statement. I know how to take the money out, but to actually see how much is in the bank, I don't know how to do that yet.
Well, for a long time, Carol's relied on me heavily, which is no problem at all. But yeah, now she won't have to rely on me as much, and I don't know how I'm going to feel, but I'm wondering if I'm going to be needed, or if I'm not going to be needed, or if I'm going to be needed less or more. Where we're going is going to be different than what I thought it was going to be 3 months ago.
Has anyone here had kind of expectations that they didn't really necessarily think would happen?
So I was looking at this evening, and this was the first few words that I was writing at the start, you know?
Right.
And then as we moved on every week, the pages were getting full and full, and then I ended up writing a letter.
Right.
At the end of it, like, which I'd never done it before.
Right.
So I mean, it has made a big change for me.
And what about, say, Keith, in your relationships with at home? I mean, are you married, are you?
I am, yeah.
You are. And was your wife rooting for you?
Oh yeah, but she's delighted that I done it. You know, I mean, I had my own business at one time there, and she was trying to get letters out and whatever. She used to have to do the whole lot, you know.
Okay.
But now, since I started here now, I mean, only here, this is our 7th week.
Right.
And I'm on the computers, I'm texting.
And is your wife sad that she's out of a job now, that you can do the...
Well, she's jealous of the pen now. She hides all the pens now, you know.
Okay. Listen to you about the sense of independence that people have. Has anyone else had that sense of independence?
Well, you're more confident going out that if a situation might come up, you know, that you'd be asked maybe to fill a form or explain something even. You know, it has brought out, you know, confidence-wise as well. It's not just about reading and writing here. The day-to-day stuff, like it's not just in the classroom. And my husband can come in or my son, wherever, and if it was a message for them and the name was left, they'd say, what name was left?
Yeah, that's right.
And I'd say, wait now, and I wouldn't be able to read it. And my husband used to say, write that you can read it.
Yeah.
But I used to try and I just couldn't, you know. Whereas now I can pick up a copy and maybe doodle while I'm having my breakfast and write down a sentence. And my husband can come in then at lunchtime and pick up that and say, what were you doing here this morning? To Penny, have a wonderful birthday. All our love, Mum and Dad. Kiss, 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 kiss. I've just wrote the first birthday card ever to my daughter for his birthday, and I'm really pleased with myself because I wouldn't have even attempted that before. But I was, you know, confident about what I was spelling, and that's what the courses had given me, is the confidence to write a card. Like, that means so much to me. It might only seem like a small thing, writing a card. And I think a card is personal, you know, somebody's going to read it. And then the fact too, it's going to be up on a shelf maybe, you know, for people to read. So it's going to be out like not in the public as such, but out for other people to walk into the house maybe and pick up and read. So you're conscious of that all the time. But now, I think if there was a remark, maybe if I did make a spelling error, like to say, well, I'm working on that now, you know. So I wouldn't have that stigma like I used to have about my spelling, especially, you know. I know Paul's very proud of me now that I've stuck with it. And he can actually say when he comes in, like Paul might be sitting there and I might just write a few lines. And he'll say, you know, is that homework you're doing? I say, no, I'm just diddling along. And I say, Paul, look at that now and read it. What do you think? And you start laughing. So he's seen an insight into me that he wouldn't have if I wasn't putting it in writing. When you write it down, someone can pick it up at whatever time, or you can return to it and add to it. So, yeah, it's going to open up a whole new world to me.
Every week, a guest speaker is invited out to Wicklow to share their experiences with the group. Tonight's speaker is writer and comedian Brendan O'Carroll.
Where in the name of God is this? I swear to God, the further we were getting into the mountains, I thought somebody's going to bury me out here. And tell me this, is it what you expected it to be?
No. More. It's better. Better than what I expected to be.
When they talk about having a school experience, I see my kids now have all been through school, and they are having a school experience.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call what I did going to school, it wasn't really a school experience. You went in, and I'm not talking about getting bet and getting smacked and all this. In a lot of cases, we would have deserved it.
Too many pupils.
48 in our class.
Yeah, we were the same.
48 in our class. I haven't, and the roll was called out in Irish. So like there was a fella called like Mahula Makamaha Harsh, and by the time we finished the roll, it was time to go home. We said, okay, thanks very much. Everybody go home now. My mum was a bit of a genius, is really what I'm saying. And it was that really got us educated. Now, I went to school with darned elbows but I was spotless. Lino in the soles of my shoes, but they were polished within an inch of their life. And she'd sit me and she'd tie me laces and she'd pinch me chin and she'd say, you can be anything you want to be. And I grew up believing I could be anything I wanted to be. That nobody would stand in my way. So that you don't get in school.
That's right.
One thing I did pick up on him there now was what he said was, you can be anything you want to be. And when you say that to your kids, because Jordan now is very fond of music and he's into music, he plays the keyboard. And I always kind of say to him, like, you're good, you know, you're good at what you do, you play beautiful music. And I'm always praising him. And that with Jordan, he'd be there at the table and he'd be saying, Mommy, can you help me with this? Like, and I'd say, I'll do it in a minute now, Jordan. I'd never say I can't do it, but I'd say, I will, I'll help you in a minute. But I knew I couldn't. And now I can, you know, I can go over there and I can kind of say, well, try it this way, like, you know, it's, you know, and I've interest because I know I can, where I couldn't before, do you know what I mean? And that was an awful thing.
By the time I was diagnosed as dyslexic, I'd already written two novels. And when I did the test, she said, you're classic dyslexic. I said, I can't be. I've written 2 books. And she said, well, Leonardo da Vinci was dyslexic. And she went through a list of them. Einstein was dyslexic.
You mentioned the word dyslexic. In what area?
Sequence.
Sequence.
I knew all the days of the week, but I didn't know which order they came in.
Cool.
When you be writing a word, sometimes you write for bold the B-L-O-D instead of B-O-L-D. I knew all the letters, they just came out in the wrong order for me. I was aware of it in a kind of a roundabout way. I was aware that this was the case, that everybody was learning something one way and I couldn't learn it that way. So I would find a way to learn it myself. And that's how I learned to learn. But you know what they call that in America now? Thinking outside the box. I didn't know it was that. So there you go, dyslexia had me thinking outside the box before thinking outside the box was invented.
Everyone has changed down there. You can see a change in everyone. Like from the time that we first met on that bus, and when I think back, you know, you say, that doesn't seem to be the same person. Like, I think we're all standing tall.
The very first time I was in the university, I went to UCD to do a gig for the students. And this guy who was the student rep met me and said to me, "Oh, come on, I'll show you around." And he started showing me around the university. Oh, jeez, I swear to God, I could have sat down and cried. If I had known that this was here, that was possible, there's no way I would have left school. I would have tried everything I could, but I had no idea. I mean, where I was in school, beyond the school gate was work.
I'd miss the whole album, to be honest, because, I mean, I don't know, but I think we're all kind of close now, and it's be a big change from me and not being in a group, you know, but I wish the whole album the best of luck.
Every student has to prepare a personal project for the final presentation next week. Paul's presentation is about his love of horses.
I am going to work on a project on horses because they are fascinating.
Now, do you see that word, fascinating? Will you write it again down there? So it's fast, sin, C-I-N, ing. Okay.
I used to have a horse. Her name was Rose. She was kind of red with a black face, a man. I loved her because she loved me too.
All right, Pa.
That's the story.
What do you think?
I love
That
you.
grand, Andy.
Yeah.
Do you want to jockey this one?
Yeah. Stacey's my friend from Tala, and she's at organising 2 horses for me to go out and jockey one of them, and her as well. You know, I ended up going into Smithfield. I've never jockeyed a horse in my life, and I ended up buying one. And I just learned from there then. So I mean, like Stacey taught me, like a few people, and then it just comes natural to you when you get onto the horse. Like, it's like riding a bike, it just comes to you natural.
Paul always lived around the area and he was doing grand and all in school, and then he just went down the other road, you know. And 2 of us used to jockey up and down these fields all since he had his horse. Remember when you had your old horse, all the horses wanted almost to grab the grass. Don't let them grab the grass, just you're in control. You show him his boss.
See, friends at home are more close, I think, because I know them all my life. So, you know what I mean? With people on the street, you only know them a couple of months, or probably a year or 2 or whatever, you know what I mean? But with people at home, I know them all my life.
When I found out Paul had somewhere, a place of his own, I actually did say, Paul, that's great, that's your own bit of independence. I mean, he deserves it. He has been trying his best, and then there's times where he was so low, life was that low. You've hit rock bottom, and then when I found out he got a house, he has a beautiful girlfriend, a beautiful baby. I mean, it's a great bit of independence for Paul. Paul does need it. And then maybe in a few years, Paul could get himself a job, his girlfriend could, the child could go on to school and just have a proper life and settle down and show everybody else who said Paul hadn't got a bit of hope that he actually does have a bit of hope in life.
So I think they're the most intelligent animal going, because if you treat them with love, they'll treat you with love. It's like a human being. Like if you jockey it too hard, that's it. It won't go the next time then when you want it to. That's a cracker of a horse.
Back at Capure, and the rest of the group are busy getting their projects together for the final presentation next week.
Now, whose is this?
Mine.
Okay, Norma, tell us a little bit of your project and why you chose this.
This one is, I am here to tell you about Nala and my learning difficulties. This one is dip your toe in the water and see if you like it. That's for people that don't know whether to go learn or not, or are confused about it.
The first weekend was hard,
Make your dream come true.
and then each weekend it seemed to get easier and easier. And now we're back to hard again because we're all going our own ways next week. So that's kind of revolving.
I was persuaded 2 weeks ago to write this, write a poem. And I was given the tip to it. I was even given the title. Catelyn gave me the title, so I went to work on it. The day I went out, I went to work on it. My silence of deafness, with words of a hollow sound, that's my corner of darkness, where those words cannot be found. An isolation of loneliness, where walls have no doors. There's people all around, but I can't hear them, of course. Alone in my thoughts, where there's no one to hear, yet I hear voices, and that is my fear. As I huddle in this corner, where my thoughts are so deep, there are lonely empty spaces, but my hopes I must keep. There's light in this corner, it's bright I can see, of course, as I walk down that lonely passage into those open doors. Yeah, these are the houses we're staying in each week.
That's lovely, isn't it?
And this one, the women that's doing the cows was.
Is there? And this girl?
And that girl, yeah, she's from Cork. She's from Tala.
And you're enjoying it?
Yeah, I think it's great, yeah.
And what were you doing? What was the activities that you were doing?
Doing that ball room dancing.
How'd you find that?
Yeah,
I
it was
know
out,
you
yeah.
two left feet. He wasn't that great cards. He had to live with that. The playful little Vincent that used to be got lost. But now I see Vincent coming back to Vincent. You wouldn't even dance, not even in the house. When we used to have our parties.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
See, I dealt with all that with him. I had to bring him to Blackrock, collect him. I seen what was going on out there. And that's why.
She came out to give us three a makeover. And then when she done the makeover, we told her to hold on to the clothes.
Very nice.
No.
To me, looks great. The Vincent that I know should have been there.
She's from Cork.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, and that's what I'm happy to say.
This is
I knew he forgot himself.
Yeah, that's the background.
I knew that all through the years, but you just forget about it yourself as well. And now that you see him back, Vincent, it's great to see him. I can tell by this anyway.
Yeah, look, we're all had to come together and we all seem to be communicating better and making friends, you know. Because we all seem to have a laugh and a joke with each other as well. You can have a laugh and a joke while you're learning and reading and working, you know.
Yeah. I know myself how good this is for him. And he's found a lot of himself. And he has. I think he's had to find all Vincent there.
Next week on Written Off, all 11 students will present their final projects to an invited audience of close family members and a very special guest. If you would like to improve your reading, writing and numeracy, call the National Adult Literacy Agency on free phone 1800 2020 65. That's 1800 2020 65. 7 weeks ago, 11 hopefuls took their first steps on a journey that would lead them back to education.
Hopefully, like, that I'd be able to change my life, like, change it around in the next month, 2 months.
First time she came home with the homework, I actually cried because I wasn't able to do it.
For them, basic reading and writing has always been a struggle.
My bank manager never knew I couldn't write. My accountant never knew I couldn't write.
I was getting a taxi home at 4 o'clock this morning. I'm not coming down here again.
The journey has been difficult, but all 11 have made it to the last weekend.
It's better than winning the lottery. To me, it is anyway, like, you know.
The group have a chance to graduate, but first they must present their coursework to a special invited audience. For 8 weekends, the group has travelled from their homes around the country to County Wicklow. For those 3 days and nights, they work closely with the 2 tutors, Bobby and Kathleen, plus a host of guest speakers and specialists.
Okay, guys, morning, everyone.
Morning.
Right, welcome to weekend 8. We're coming to the end of the journey. And this weekend is all about looking at the work that you've done to date, looking at the portfolios, finishing up some assessments, and just seeing the journey that you're taking from weekend 1 to weekend 8 and where you are. And here this morning we're out to do some high ropes. Okay, get a bit of energy inside because we've got a busy weekend ahead.
Outdoor activities continue to help them overcome fear